Do I want to destroy him and everything that he stands for? Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't like Chris. I think he's an idiot.
You decide.
35 years in the making, a cross-generation fight that has captured the nation's imagination. The moment of truth is almost upon us as Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn battle it out in a British boxing blockbuster. Today is the weigh-in and the fighters will face off for the final time. Hello there, very warm welcome to the Design Centre here in Islington. Just one more sleep to go until a monumental fight night coming your way live from Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Saturday evening. We are so here for it, aren't we, gentlemen? Johnny Nelson, Matt Macklin and George Groves. I know you're all very eager to get stuck into it, but well, the drama, it has been rumbling on, hasn't it? And while the news is out there, the weigh-in took place a little earlier on today. And for Chris Eubank Jr., well, those fines, they just keep racking up, don't they? Andy Clark's on hand to tell us what went down at the weigh-in a little earlier on.
Interesting scenes at the Fight Hotel today, the kinds of scenes you get around weigh-ins, the kind of shenanigans you don't get around other sports. As we know, this fight was set at £160 at the middleweight limit. Conor Benn arrived at 11:26 to weigh in. We never expected him to have any kind of issues because he's coming up in weight, as has been well documented. He tipped the scales at 156 and a bit pounds, all smiles, all very relaxed, and didn't really hang around too long. At that point, Chris Eubank Jr., under British Boxing Border Control rules, has 1 hour to arrive and make the weight. He arrived not much after 12 o'clock. Weighed was 2 ounces over. He then sent out for a towel because he knew that he would need to remove his underwear and see what difference that made. This time he's 1 ounce over. The gym was right next door. He had a few minutes left at this point, so he disappeared into the gym to try and get a bit of a sweat on, which he did do, got back on the scales, and he was 1/2 ounce over. Now, the British Boxing Border Control were never going to have any problem with that. They're concerned about fighter safety. That's all they were there really to keep their eye on. And so for them, there is no issue. But contractually, he signed a contract to make £160, and he has missed it by an absolutely minimal amount. And therefore, under the terms of the contract, he has incurred a hefty fine. He does have to weigh in again tomorrow morning with that £10 rehydration clause. I feel like if he'd arrived a bit earlier today, he could have made it. But in the end, he just ran out of time. Well, back to you guys. I'm sure you've got plenty of thoughts.
I mean, yeah, there is plenty to get stuck into there, Johnny. I mean, you've got the equivalent of what Chris was over by, a battery or a small egg, wasn't it?
That's it, or a small egg, and that's what's cost him a hefty fine. Now, I think it's down to all week long he's done it at his pace. He's come in late. Nobody's rushed him at all, and I agree with Andy. He got to the weigh, gave himself enough time, maybe 15 minutes left. Just 15 minutes left, and then he over-egged it. But then what happens? Now all of a sudden he's got a big fine. This is the problem now. The problem was this morning, and I believe it happened this morning. He put footage out of him sweating out this morning. Now you don't
normally see that.
Yeah, you wouldn't do that the night before. You'd do that on the morning because you're going to get weighed in. I am telling you now, the Boxing Board of Control should pick up an issue with that, because worst case scenario, that can go down as evidence. He shouldn't, and why would you put it out? Had he put it out to say, if I lose, remember, you've seen how much I've struggled to make the weight. I've sweated it out here. So the issues and the worries of his father are now measuring up to what we saw this morning that he put out, which he won't take down. So the fight goes on. So he's struggled to make the weight. He showed he struggled to make the weight, which I believe he still could make the weight, but he's kept it up there. So he's got it. If he loses, look what's happened. If he wins, I still did this, and I struggled to make the weight.
George, what do you think it came down to? Do you think Johnny's right that he just left it to the last minute?
Yeah, totally unprofessional from Chris Eubank Jr., who seemed so well rehearsed in the whole build-up. You know, he knew what he's wanting to say, how he's wanted to portray himself. You know, he's got his points across time and time again. And he hasn't just took on Conor Benn, he's took on Eddie Hearn, he's took on this one, that one, he's took on everyone, and so far been undefeated. But today, just a terrible error, you know, and then you wonder.
He's been three smart.
Yeah.
He's outsmarted himself.
But, you know, like, there are fighters out there, Johnny, and Eubank's definitely one of them, who he's probably a bit of a control freak, yeah? The guys around him probably don't advise him on much. He gets on with what he does. But he's left it too late to make the weight. So whether he was given the wrong information from someone or other, but he's left it too late to make the weight. The fact that he's tried to make the weight, Anna, and failed, I think is a massive problem. If he hadn't tried to make the weight and just failed it, in his brain, when this is more mental than physical at this point, he's got to go to bed tonight knowing that he got it wrong. He got it so badly wrong.
Well, is that a win for Conor Benn?
Massive win.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be totally kicking himself. I think he could have made it. I think they've just got it wrong. You know, to get so close and to have sweated that much, you know, and then to try and get it up again. You know what I mean?
To give people perspective at home, right? Once you are sweating, right? Once you're sweating, it takes a while to start sweating. Once you start sweating, you don't just stop. The sweat just keeps coming. You just need to give it a little bit more time. You see, he put out stuff, as Johnny said. He's laying under a bed of blankets, you know, and towels and that. Just stay under there a couple more minutes. If he had a couple more minutes, Matt, he would have done it. But he didn't, did he?
But I think he's probably checked his weight. He's probably within a tiny fraction of it. Thought, I'll have that off by the time I get there. Wrapped up, because he looked like he was wrapped up.
And you look at Team Ben. Look at Team Ben. When they heard this had gone, they were in adulation. Yes. Well, this is dangerous now, because all of a sudden I'm quite sure in the camp saying, look, he struggled to make the weight, you've got it. You need to have that fear factor that you had before this happened to make sure you fight top gear and keep your eye on the ball.
Matt, how does this impact the fight for Chris Eubank Jr., do you think? I mean, how hard is it a fight? You're struggling to get that last bit off. How much is he going to take out of him?
I think he's tight at the weight, but I think he could have made the weight.
Yeah.
I think he's made an error in judgment. He's misjudged it. He's got it wrong, and that. So I don't think physically that's going to have any bearing, but mentally, like George said, he's going to really be kicking himself now that he's got that wrong. I think more so.
I think it's massive news, because he's going to suffer, and lots of fighters do suffer behind closed doors. You suffer to make the weight, but you do it because that's the job. You do it, and then you go back, and then you portray yourself. I'm big. I made the weight easy, and I'm going to be so big on the night.
Let's not forget about tomorrow morning.
Rehydration.
Let's not forget because again,
that's not a new thing for this fight. That's a thing that you do behind closed doors. You weigh in the next day, £10. That's that.
Right. And if he fails, that's another fight.
And everyone knows that he's failed the weight. That's the big problem here. It's going to be a mental thing where he's going to he's let himself down. Yeah. He's let himself down because
really
he's got
annoyed
it wrong.
himself.
Well, it's going to be interesting, isn't it, to see what sort of mannerism he's in this evening when he faces off with Conor Benn a little later on. I mean, it is an alleged fine of $500,000. It's a hefty fine on top of the 100 grand that he's already been fined for the egg incidents. They are racking up.
They reimbursed all the fighters that missed out on the previous fight. Training expenses.
There was upsides to those two, Matt, weren't there? There's upsides of hitting your foe in the face with an egg. He went to bed with a smile that day, and then obviously it's a decent little bit of PR that one. He didn't keep it to himself, did he, Matt? With the 50,000 to the team.
Well, that is our main event, and that is the weigh-in taking place a little bit later on. But as you can see on your screen, then just look at that undercard. It is a stellar undercard, isn't it? I think the calibre of the card is sort of indicative that Chris Billam-Smith is kicking off the action against Brandon Glanton. A brilliant British cruiserweight title fight, Chevron Clark against Vidal Riley, Liam Smith, Aaron Kenner, and also that trilogy fight, Anthony Yard against Lyndon Arthur. It is a fantastic night of boxing coming away on Saturday night, and here's how you can watch it. Coverage from Tottenham Hotspur Stadium gets underway from 5 p.m. on Saturday, live on Sky Sports Box Office. The event is available to Sky customers and also non-Sky customers via the Sky Sports Box Office app in the UK and Ireland. Virgin Media and EETV customers, please contact your operator. Go to skysports.com/box office for more information. Well, it is a rivalry, isn't it, that has been rumbling on for 35 years, and it runs deep. Andy Scott's on hand to tell us a little bit more.
When you're ready.
Yeah, are you ready?
Okay.
Rolling?
Yeah, ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Rivalry.
It's been a long time coming.
A clash of personalities and the intensity of competition often takes sport to a different place.
Lawrence, did you want the eyeball to eyeball? We want the eyeball to eyeball.
We've seen examples in the past of how a pre-fight war of words can spill over.
Is there any chance of a handshake?
No chance. It's painful listening to this chump. But can I pull about a little bit?
I've got closer to you, so I'm chasing you. I could go clubbing every single night and I'll still knock you out. It's easy.
After years of accusations and bitterness, a different type of rivalry between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn has emerged.
You're done.
We'll see.
You're done.
A lot has happened in these last 2.5 years. We need to set the record straight, and that I will do.
Yeah, I mean, a lot's happened. A lot of life has happened, been through hell and back. But we're here now and I'm focused on the future. Focused on finishing what was started.
Do I hate Conor Benn? I would never give him that type of power over me. I keep my emotions out of the sport of boxing. But do I want to destroy him and everything that he stands for? Absolutely.
Throw in the added pressure of the family name and the fear of failure becomes even stronger.
I have to prove I'm ready, willing and able to do it.
I'm always nervous when I get in the ring. I've got an angel on that side and I've got a devil on that side.
Could you live with losing to him?
No, I couldn't.
That would be too much for me to bear.
Right. That's it. Thank you very much.
So the question remains, will this rivalry be settled in the ring, or will it never truly be over?
And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to have a war with him. No boxing, nothing. I'm just going to go out there and have it with him.
There's so much on the line for you here, isn't there, career-wise?
Yes. Yes, I've got to win it.
Everything is on the line.
In regards to my future.
And I will not fail.
So much to talk about, isn't there? We're going to take a quick break, though. On the other side, we have your undercard weigh-in on the way as we build up to those main event fighters who are ready and set to take centre stage. Welcome back to Islington. While the undercard weigh-in is just around the corner. Johnny, just before the break, though, we saw a feature on just how deep the rivalry goes between Eubank and Benn. Just what is at stake tomorrow night?
There's so much, over 35 years of family name rivalry. It took 2 years to make this fight, eventually, to get it there. There's so much at stake for the family name, for pride, because this is going to, historically, Eubank Senior and Benn and Nigel Benn, they are part of our UK history. Yeah. So now the old folk like myself will remember the rivalry. Now you look at this. This is a domestic show. It's got a big fight feel about it. 65,000 people at Tottenham Stadium. You've got a 1,000 or so people here for the weigh-in. It's got a big fight feel. That's why here in the UK it shows how big. Nationally, this is the big fight. Internationally, worldwide, they probably don't care. But here in the UK, this is a big deal.
It's a genuine rivalry as well, Matt. There is a lot of dislike. I mean, I would always use the word hate even perhaps between the two of them. They genuinely dislike each other.
Trying to lip read you. Oh yeah, complete needle. Sometimes we all have a bit of needle, and sometimes it's kind of put on or exaggerated at least to sell. And maybe the fighters try and put themselves in that frame of mind to get themselves up for it. But this, it is real, it's legit, it's spun down from the dads. They couldn't stand each other, just chalk and cheese personalities. And it's, it's the same with the sons. There is genuine dislike for each other.
I mean, losing is unthinkable for either of them. Conor Benn has said what motivates him to get up and train is that fear of losing. But who do you think the loss would hurt more, George?
Last bit, Anna, sorry.
Who do you think the loss would hurt more?
It's a really tough one because straight away you say Eubank because he's further on in his career. He's naturally the bigger guy, so he's almost expected to win. He should be the favourite. So if he loses, then where does he go from there? But also, I feel like the pressure that's on Conor. Like, let's get it straight. 2 years ago, almost, he tested positive, and his fight has been postponed since. the pressure's going to be on him. He's going to ring walk tomorrow night to something he's never experienced before.
And now we welcome the fighting pride of Bournemouth, England. His professional record, 20 wins, 2 defeats, 13 of his 20 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the former WBO Cruiserweight Champion of the World and ranked number 2 by Ring Magazine, known as the Gentleman, Chris Bilham Smith. And first to the scale, we welcome Brandon Glanton. 199.5 for Brandon Bulletproof Glanton. Now to the scale, Chris Bilham Smith. 199 pounds for the Gentleman, Chris Bilham Smith.
So a lovely cruiserweight contest to kick off our fight card on Saturday night. Chris Bilham Smith up against Brandon Glanton. And Brandon, Johnny, he has been very vocal all week. He's been trying to get in Chris's grill. I don't think it's quite worked though. Chris is the gentleman. He doesn't seem to let it get to him.
I think he's tried to upset everybody on the card yesterday when they sat down, and he's very confident. And I saw him this morning just after he weighed in. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's got to try and talk Chris into coming forward because that's the biggest chance he's got. Both fighters get hit a lot. Both fighters get hit easily. It's about punch resistance. I've always said Chris gets hit far too much, but so does Brandon.
Matt, for Chris Bilham Smith, he's on the comeback trail, isn't he, from Zurdo Ramirez, and that loss to him not so long ago. How difficult is it for a fighter to go from champion back to being challenger?
I think it could be quite difficult to get up for the fight, but because of how Glanton's been so vocal and derogatory towards Bilham Smith, I don't think that'll happen. I think it's probably worked out well for him, really, to have an opponent who's been so fired up.
What do you think this one will come down to, Johnny?
Toughness and experience, and I think this is a fight that Chris will be the one that's the tougher of the two, more experienced of the two, and he's got the size and everything in his favour.
Tomorrow night, brilliant fight in the cruiserweight division. Brandon, final face-off done with Chris Bilham Smith. You've certainly brought the energy this week, but tell this crowd your final thoughts. How do you beat him tomorrow night?
By knockout. As I said, we're not predicting rounds, not getting into all that, but Chris going to sleep. Previously, I said some things that weren't so favorable with the public, so for that, everyone, the comments I made about brain damage, I was wrong for that. You know, I get emotional. Obviously, it's the biggest fight of my career. You say things happen, you spend months on months training, so everybody please forgive those comments I made. But other than that, I just wanted to get the point across. He's going to sleep. That's it. He's going to sleep. He's done boxing.
Brandon Glanton, respect for that, and best of luck to you tomorrow night as well. We are going to head over the stage to grab a word with the gentleman, Mr. Chris Bilham Smith. Chris, he has just apologised. Your support making themselves heard here. He's apologised for what he said yesterday. The comments were unsavoury, pretty personal. Has that changed the way you want to beat him tomorrow?
No, he's learning. He's learning, and he'll learn more on Saturday.
And just finally, he said knockout. What's your version? How do you get back on track tomorrow night?
He's right in the knockout, but the only sleeping I'll be doing is very well after the fight when I'm back home.
Chris, wish you the best of luck tomorrow night. Top man.
Our next two fighters competing tomorrow in a scheduled 12-round contest, and it'll be for the British Cruiserweight Championship. let's first welcome the challenger from Tottenham, London, England. He is undefeated with 12 wins, 7 of his 12 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the current English cruiserweight champion, Vidal, the realist Riley. And now let's welcome the defending champion from Gravesend, Kent, England. He proudly represented Great Britain at the 2020 Olympics and now has a professional record of 10 wins, just 1 defeat. 7 of his 10 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the reigning and defending British Cruiserweight Champion, known as C4 Chev Clark. First to the scale, Vidal Riley. $199.5 for Vidal, the realist Riley. Now to the scale, Chev Clark. $198.7 for C4 Chev Clark.
Johnny, I'm so looking forward to this one. The British Cruiserweight title on the line. Chev Clark against Vidal Riley. It's a North London derby. It's Arsenal against Tottenham for Vidal Riley. I mean, this is what he's dreamed of, isn't it? Fighting for a British title at your home football club on a massive platform.
Without a doubt, on such a big stage. And this is so evenly matched. Chev Clark, a good fighter. Vidal Riley, who's just not seen the consistency in his career to see the best of them. I hope this creates consistency. From want to see him at least fight 4-5 times a fight at this stage in his career. But this, mark my words, is a perfect British fighter title fight. Perfectly matched, very even, and this is how it should be when you're boxing for such a prestigious belt.
We saw a brilliant performance from Vidal against Mikel a while, but like Johnny just said, that it's been a bit frustrating for him. He was meant to be fighting Isaac Chamberlain. That was on, then it was off. But this, perhaps on paper, is a better fight for him.
Better fight for Vidal, but I think it's probably the best fight on the card as well. You've got 2 up-and-coming guys here, very much on the ascent in their careers, getting better, improving, and very evenly matched. You know, Chev Clark, the former Olympian, had that last close one, would have learned a lot, will be a better fighter because of that last. And you got Vidal, who's looked so good, but this is his acid test so far.
Yeah, toughest test to date for Vidal, no doubt, Johnny.
He needs them because each fight, if he's supposed to be the fighter people expect him to be, he needs these tests to give him the experience, which will also give him the wisdom, so when he gets the opportunity, he's there, he's in, he gets the job done.
Join the occasion, and why not when you're fighting at your home football club?
Yes, a domestic banger in the cruiserweight division. Tomorrow night, British Cruiserweight title on the line. Vidal Riley. The energy flowing here. I just said this is pretty special, and you agreed. You've said this is your destiny tomorrow for the Tottenham fan at the home of Tottenham Hotspur. How do you turn this destiny and this dream into reality tomorrow night?
Just do the business, man. Just do the business. Done everything we needed to do this week. The most important job is tomorrow, man. Handle business.
Wish you best of luck tomorrow night, Vidal Riley. Let's head over here for a quick final word with British Cruiserweight champion Chev Clark, our very own North London derby at Tottenham tomorrow. Lifelong Arsenal fan against lifelong Tottenham Hotspur supporter. Chev, a big fight in your career, looking to get back to winning ways and keep hold of that British title. How do you do it in this test? What do you see in Vidal Riley?
I use my skills, you know. I've got pedigree, I've got experience, and you guys have seen glimpses of it. It will come together come tomorrow night, and I'll go home and still.
Chev, wish you the best of luck tomorrow night. Good stuff. Left me hanging as well on stage. Great stuff, Chev.
Johnny, I know we say this a lot when it comes to the British title, but it does seem to bring out that extra little bit of spice, something extra, doesn't it, in the fighters?
Every British fighter wants to hold this, have this in their house, and that's your dream.
Throw in 65,000 fans at Tottenham as well into the mix.
You know what? I agree with Matt. This could be fight of the night because it's so well even in the match. But then look at this next one that is announcing. Now this will be absolute fireworks, youth against experience. You've got a tornado and a volcano clashing together. This will be so... You can't leave the room for this fight.
Known as the Silencer, Aaron McKenna. And now let's welcome from Liverpool, England. His professional record consists of 33 wins, 4 defeats, 1 draw, 20 of his 33 wins coming by way of knockout. Let's welcome the former WBO super welterweight champion of the world, Liam Beefy Smith. First to the scale, Aaron McKenna. 159.7 for the Silencer, Aaron McKenna. Now to the scale, Liam Smith. 160 pounds even for Liam Beefy Smith.
Matt, both fighters look really good on the scales. We haven't seen Liam well in the ring for, well, almost a year, have we, since that loss to Chris Eubank Jr. What will that do? How will that affect things? Because Aaron McKenna is convinced he's getting Liam just at the right time.
Yeah, maybe he is, but Liam looks better today than I think he did before the Eubank fight. He looked a shell of himself in the ring that night. He assures us he's a lot better for this one, that he's got it right. We're quite far away here, but from here, he looks better than what he did that time.
How do they look to you, Johnny?
I think they look spot on. I'm so excited about this fight. The excitement McKenna brings to a fight is ridiculous. The skill, the talent, the experience Smith has, again, is unquestionable. For these two, timing is everything. Obviously, you know, Smith is the older of the two, will be the slower of the two, but McKenna's a young, hungry lion.
Smith has the experience, though. What do you want to see from Aaron McKenna tomorrow?
And look at this for a stage as well. Intense face-off there with Liam Smith. What does this fight represent in your story and your journey so far?
This is what I've been training my whole life for. What a spectacle this is, and I intend to make the most of it. I have the utmost respect for Liam Smith, but I'm too young, too fresh, too sharp, too big for him, and tomorrow night he's going to realise he made a big mistake taking on me.
In one word, how do you do it?
Devastating fashion. KO always.
Great stuff. Aaron, wish you the best of luck tomorrow night. What a fight this is. And let's head over to Liam Beefy Smith. Liam, I just asked Aaron that question. What makes this an important fight in your career? You've been at the very top, but what makes this an important moment for you as well tomorrow?
Every fight at a stage of this magnitude is hugely important. You know, the eyes on you. But like I said many times since, the last time I was in the ring, I put in a bad performance, and this time round I'm looking to right the wrongs and prove I'm still the best middleweight in Britain. And Aaron McKenna's a tough young kid, but one not ready for me just yet.
Just finally, he says devastating fashion. What's your version of events just finally?
Just a typical Liam Smith performance, and I'll break him down, I'll stop him.
Top man, Liam, wish you the best of luck tomorrow night.
I'll ask you again, Johnny, what are you looking forward to seeing from Aaron McKenna tomorrow evening?
Pace.
pressure and take away the pace, put the pressure on Smith. He's got to make him feel at his age. He's got to make him feel as though he's worn out. He's got to make him feel the older fighter. That's why he doesn't want to be thinking he's going to go in there to outboxing. He needs to jump on him.
There's a fair bit of pressure on Liam's shoulders, though. He wants to prove that he can be up in the mix again in terms of the middleweights. You know, how much does he need to deliver tomorrow?
You know what? He hurt hard enough losing to Chris the way he did, but to possibly lose to McKenna, that's unthinkable. But he's a fighter at heart, and he'll keep doing this until he says, you know what, this is enough. And if he loses, that'll be enough. He'll be done.
IBO light heavyweight world champion, Lyndon King Arthur. And now let's welcome, from Ilford, London, England, his professional record consists of 26 wins, 3 defeats, 24 of his 26 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the former 2-time world title challenger and ranked number 5 by Ring Magazine. Here is Anthony, the Beast from the East, Yard. First to the scale, Lyndon Arthur. $174.6 for Lyndon King Arthur. Now to the scale, Anthony Yard. $174.2 for Anthony, the Beast from the East, Yard.
So the third in the trilogy fight, Johnny, between Lyndon Arthur and Anthony Yard. I mean, this is a rivalry again that has been brewing for years, hasn't it? Arthur got the nod in the first fight, Yard the second. What's going to happen in this third?
Lyndon Arthur's that light heavyweight that's here on these shores that's been ignored, regardless of all of them. You talk about Yard, you talk about Buatsi, you even talk about Ben Whittaker. But now Yard's got a chance on this platform to let people know who he is. These two have done this, they've had this dance before. Yard, you know, we've seen him. And then, if I'm honest with you, his last performance, he wasn't overly impressed with it. I think he may be
does he need someone to bring that out of him?
He needs to step his game up. The talent he has, the potential he has, if he has still got that, he needs to do a job on Lyndon Arthur. But Lyndon Arthur can box, he can fight. You look at his resume, you cannot write this young man off.
They've certainly not run out of things to say to each other over the years. That was an intense face-off, Matt.
Yeah, but there's mutual respect there as well, and I think that's why they'll both be bang up for this. It's one apiece. I think this will be a close, competitive, hard-fought fight.
Well, we've just had eyes on Chris Eubank Jr. We can say he is in the building. Johnny, I think this is the first time, it's fair to say, that Chris Eubank Jr., he's been on time for events this week. Could that be a knock-on effect, you think, from events this morning?
You know, he wants to get this over and done with, and I just whispered in your ear, you know what, I actually think that's changed the game in regards to Chris and his team's approach.
All right, I think we're going to hear from Lyndon Arthur.
Okay, a trilogy to look forward to in the chief support tomorrow night. It's one apiece between Lyndon Arthur and Anthony Yard. Lyndon, final face-off. I have to ask, what were you saying to Anthony Yard there?
Nothing, it's just a bit of banter back and forth. He's telling me I look scared, apparently. Did I look scared? I look scared? No? Yeah, petrified, I told him, so we'll see what happens tomorrow.
And in terms of this, you beat him before. How do you believe you beat him again tomorrow night?
I think I stop him. I believe I stop him. But I'm scared, so I don't know.
And in terms of the version of yourself, what version of Lyndon Arthur are we going to see tomorrow night?
The best one that's been yet, I believe. I'm in the best shape of my life, so done everything proper for once.
Great. Great stuff. Lyndon Arthur, look forward to this. Tomorrow night, let's hear from the man in the opposite corner. Anthony Yard. Anthony, weight made. He says it was a bit of banter, a bit of back and forth. What were you saying to each other up there?
No, I was asking him if he's scared. If he's scared. Saying about his glasses. I can't remember. We were just chatting shit.
I said to him there, it's one apiece. He's predicting that he'll stop you this time. I know you've said all week that one apiece annoys you. How do you settle this rivalry tomorrow in your own mind?
Everyone knows my style. I don't trash talk or nothing like that, but my style is I like to win by knockout. So regardless if it's him, anybody, I want to win the fight by knockout. So especially it being him, I'm going to win the fight by knockout.
Great stuff, Anthony. Wish you the best of luck tomorrow night. The decider in the Chief support.
Just to apologise for any colourful language you might have heard there. And that concludes the undercard weigh-in. Coming up after the break, you do not want to go anywhere. It is all eyes on our main event weigh-in.
This fight is everything.
It was a fight that just seemed to never go away.
It's career defining.
It was the fight the public demanded.
Everything is riding on this fight. We need to set the record straight.
Welcome back to Islington. Look at that, the crowds are gathering. It is almost time for our main event weigh-in. Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn are about to step on the scales. George, with what happened behind closed doors at the official weigh-in this morning, that Chris missed the weight, how mentally is that going to affect things today? Do you think he will be as fired up or even more fired up than usual?
I'm really intrigued to see how he comes out here, how he regroups, because he got it wrong today. And that's the first time that he's got it wrong in his entire build-up. He let himself down, essentially. And money aside, all these things, he just got it wrong. So he needs to come out and show that, actually, it didn't affect me. I'm good to go. Business as usual. Minor blip. Back on track. But sometimes it's hard to disguise. It'll be plain to see on his face, I'm sure.
And you never know what's going to happen. But what we did see at yesterday's press conference, Johnny, was a slight different side to Chris Eubank Jr. A bit more of an emotional side. When Conor Benn was referring to pain, he was talking about how much, the loss of his brother and how painful that has been for him. But also one other thing that has been rumbling on in the background is, of course, the story about his dad, Senior, that he hasn't spoken to, say, in years, and how that affects things. Do you think we will see Chris Eubank Senior tomorrow night?
You know what, after this morning and after how Chris was so sincere, so honest, a message to Chris Senior as a father: your son needs you. You need to make sure, forget about the cameras, come backstage, forget about everything that's said and done. This is the chance. You're a father, stay out of it, but your job is to support your son. Your son needs you. Chris should turn up, should be there to support his son. He's a father. Forget about the razzmatazz, forget about the promoters, forget about the point he's trying to make. He's made his point. His son needs him, and he will regret it if he doesn't turn up for his son. I hope he's watching this. I hope somebody passes a message onto him. He needs to be there for his son. Forget about the cameras, get backstage, get there for your son.
Because it's a polar opposite story, isn't it, for Conor Benn? Because Nigel Benn has been very involved in camp. He's there at every step of the way. Very united, very different to the Eubank side.
Yeah, very much so. The families on there, all families have their stuff, don't they? It's nice that Nigel is there with Conor, although he's very hands-on, but also leaves it to Tony Sims as well. He's there for emotional support as his dad, not trying to coach him. He leaves that to Tony, and that he's been with him his whole pro career, very experienced coach. So, I think Nigel has found the right balance with it.
As fighters, though, we know Conor Benn is a fighter that's a very emotional fighter, George. He wears his heart on his sleeve, doesn't he, when he's in the ring? Massive occasion, massive stage, a lot at stake, as we've spoken about. How hard is it going to be for Conor Benn to keep those emotions in check?
Tomorrow it's going to be his toughest challenge yet. And let's get it straight, he might ring walk to 60,000 boots tomorrow night. And is he the sort of fella who wants that? Is he the sort of, no one wants it, sorry, that's a silly thing to say. Is he the sort of fella who's going to be able to cope with that? Because he is so emotional. Like, I don't like any fighter getting booed. It's not what people should be there for, right? But you look at Chris Eubank Sr., he embraced it in his time. Eubank Jr. at periods throughout his career has played up to that role, and he's come out to booze. Conor Benn hasn't. And I wasn't around to watch Nigel, but I don't think Nigel would have either. That might be something they've got to experience and get over really quickly tomorrow, and it will show, again, it might be a factor in the way this fight goes.
It might be a factor because it is the big occasion, isn't it, Johnny? You never know what's going to happen, and when you have that many fans, and if there are boos, and it's something that you've never dealt with before.
Yeah, I don't think Conor will get booed. I think he'll get cheered. I think unfairly. I think Chris will be the one that's vilified, because he's not. Conor's one you can kind of relate to, regardless of what he's done or not, whereas Chris is rather aloof, and he doesn't care what you or I think. He'll just say how he is. So therefore, I think he'll be the one that'll get the criticism. I think it'll hurt Conor if he walks out to booze. I don't think it'll hurt Chris. Chris said, when in the build-up to this, he said, "I've been boxing all this time, and I've been booed, I've been vilified, and I've not done anything wrong." So he understands, and he can deal with that.
He understands, but Johnny, he also enjoys it, I think.
Yeah,
he knows the role he's playing.
Some fighters, they rise to it. The first time Chris Senior was cheered was when he got into fight Carl Thompson, and you saw him stood on the ring apron side of the ring, and he was kind of taken aback.
What's happening?
He was kind of as if to say, what is going on here? And then he lost in front of that crowd that was actually cheering him. Chris Senior loved it being booed because it lifted him. It makes you fight like you're a cornered animal, and I think Junior's the same.
Yeah, sometimes he needs to be that villain character, doesn't he, to bring out the best in him. In terms of experience, though, Matt, there's no denying that Chris Eubank Jr. has the vastly experienced CV going into this fight compared to Conor Benn.
Far more experienced, far more proven resume. The level of opposition he's fought, the performance he's put in, and he's the physically bigger guy. He's got all the physical advantage. You look at that, the evidence we've got, the facts, that's happened, and you have to say Eubank's a strong favourite, but timing is important. Fighters do get old, reflexes slow down, reactions slow down, punch resistance deteriorates. These things are real too, and they could be a big factor tomorrow night.
It could be, and Conor Benn, it could be the younger, fresher fighter, George.
Yeah, he certainly is, and you know that he has left no stone unturned physically. I mean, he puts a lot of his training online for us to see anyway, but he looks like he's
up at 4:30 in the morning. He's been putting all his runs out there, isn't he?
Yes, yeah. I didn't know that. Nice early start. I never like getting up that early, Matt, for a run. My best running time is about 10 a.m, man. I come round a little bit, have breakfast, you know. When he's up at 4 a.m, Rocky's going on in the background. He's living the Rocky life. He leaves no stone unturned, and he's up for it. And he's probably looking at, his size and his age. He might be in the physical prime of his life. He doesn't match up to Eubank for experience, but he looks like a born athlete, and he's up for it. He couldn't be any more up for this fight. This is up for a fight as I've seen anyone ever.
Whether Eubank is completely shot or not, he is on the decline. He's 35 or 36 years old. He won't be as good as he was 5 years ago. Fact. Where Conor Benn is coming into that physical peak now, and his improvement and his confidence, and Tony Sims, I spoke to him earlier, he wasn't lying. There's no reason to lie to me. The confidence is real, and he said he's got better and better, he's sparring, as you do. He said at 28, you're improving. He's probably at his peak right now.
I think I spoke to Jonathan Banks this morning, actually.
Eubank's trainer, yep.
Eubank's trainer, and I said, he said it's not about fitness. I think both fighters, fitness is not an issue here. It's about that, where you are mentally, where your mind is mentally. And he said to Chris Jr., if your mind's right, you get the job done, because Conor's the same. And he understands this is very, very even, more even than you and I think. But he said it's all about mentality getting in.
Doesn't that put even more pressure on what happened today in terms of having your mind in the right place and how that affects
Without a doubt, it's a spanning the works. Yeah. They were disappointed, and even though they said it's cool, it's no problem, we can handle it. They've got to say that. But I walked past the door, Chris was sat in the chair afterwards, sipping his water, as if to say, what's just happened there? So again, he was street smart, he outsmarted himself. But with this, that's when the wheels start to fall off. You've got to get this thing right. So we'll just wait and see how it turns out. But there's a lot of that going on now for Team Eubank.
And as a fighter, if your brain, if your head starts to go, what do you need to do to get it back? Or, Johnny, you're shaking your head. Is it gone?
If your head's not right, you can be so fit. If your head's not in it, you're gonna get turned over in a fight. Your head's got to be everything. Your head is you can see someone that's unbelievably fit. If his head's not in the game, no point in being there.
I think with all the weight thing, what happened now? I think easier said than done, but he's just got to put that behind him now. What's done's done. He can't change it.
Easier said than done, Matt, when everyone's talking about it.
But he's someone that's been able to deal with pressure his whole career, so I think he will be able to switch that off.
Well, it's going to be obvious, I guess, on the scales in terms of size, but how is it going to affect the fight, George?
Again, like Conor Benn was demanding a small ring, an 18-foot ring. Maybe that will suit Eubank. If Eubank comes in and his legs are under him and he's bigger, then that suits the bigger man. Maybe Conor Benn didn't ask for an 18-foot ring, but he got told that's what it is, and he's gone, I'm going to claim that and say it was mine. I wanted that.
But it's all part of the mind games, isn't it?
Of course, every bit of it.
All of it.
Stone unturned. No, yeah, these guys, I think they are born fighters. Really, their parents are fighters, and not every time your offspring are built for fighting. But I think these two generally born fighters. I think there's no quitting them. Like there was no quitting the parents. We saw Nigel Benn get up off the floor against Gerald McLennan. We saw Eubank time and time again down against Watson. I think there's no quitting either of these guys. There's definitely no quitting Conor Benn that I've seen so far. And this is his biggest fight ever. It doesn't matter what happens for him after this. This is his biggest fight ever. And the same has to be said for Eubank.
And for Conor Benn, it feels like he's got a massive point to prove, Johnny.
Yeah, without a doubt. And the smiles on the Benn team after seeing the weigh-in this morning, it was adulation. They were so happy, they were so comfortable, thinking, yes, we've got this done. And I actually thought, boys, just hold your horses. Eubank has slipped up, but don't run away with yourself and drop your guard. Stay on point, stay focused, keep your head in the game, because that's when it gets dangerous.
I believe the fighters are now making their way to the stage. We know that this fight was due to take place 2.5 years ago, Johnny. It's been well documented why that fight didn't happen. In terms of the break, in terms of the time and the build-up, who's that going to favour more, do you think?
It's going to favour Chris, because Conor has had to deal with the mental stress, pressure, upset, criticism, and the doubts and everything. We've seen his emotions play out publicly. He's hated people questioning him. He's hated people doubting him. He's hated people not believing a word he said. He's hated people thinking he's a drug cheat. So he's had to not just go through that, he's had to now get his head in place to try and shake that shadow.
Conor Benn just standing at the top of the stairs. The crowd are going, can't quite make out. Is that boos or is that...
You know what, I don't think they're booing, because we know what a boo is. You've got some fans here that are here they're involved, and Conor stood there to walk right into the mouth of the crowd. What a better place to be. What a great place to be.
Just to say, if you are tuning in to the netball, it is on the Sky Sports Plus stream right now if you fancy it. But we are in the thick of it, of our main event weigh-in, which is just about to get underway. Let's hand you over to Hall of Fame MC Michael Buffer for the introductions.
Hotspur Stadium, London. Two fighters, two arch rivals will step into the ring and face each other in the main event of a great night of world-class professional boxing for your entertainment. And now we welcome you to the official weigh-in for that main event. It's a presentation of the Bible of Boxing Ring Magazine and SNK Corporation, publisher of the video combat game Fatal Fury, City of Wolves, along with promoters Ben Shalom for Boxer, Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing, and Box Raw. Sponsorship provided by the Public Investment Fund. Visit Saudi, STC, SRMG, Dr. Suleiman Al Habib Medical Group, Saudia, the national airline of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Jeddah Season, Milaf Cola, Visit Qatar, Core Group, Dessert, NHC, Jacko, Sky, the Arab National Bank, First Data, Sella, and SMC. So now, ladies and gentlemen, the main event. 12 rounds of boxing scheduled in the middleweight division, and on the line, legacy. But even more important, bragging rights for sure. With almost 70,000 fans in attendance, this will be broadcast and streamed live worldwide on DAZN and available on both DAZN and Sky Sports box office here in the United Kingdom. So at this time, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring the fighters to the stage and to the scales. First, from London with a perfect professional record consisting of 23 fights, 23 victories, including 14 big wins by knockout. He's the European Continental welterweight champion. He is Conor the Destroyer Benn.
Conor Benn there, Johnny, just making his way through the crowd. A few hugs there, soaking it up. A few pictures along the way. How different will he be feeling right at this moment when Chris knows he's missed the weight, the £10 rehydration clause? For Conor, I guess he can relax a little bit.
Yeah, so the difference here will be, Conor, as far as he's concerned, the hardest bit of a big fight is making the weight. Once you've done the weight, you're like, yes, I've done it, relaxing. But then it's a different form of emotions. He's done the hard work. So now he'll be fully hydrated, he's on point. Now he just needs to get through these formalities. Seeing the guy that he wants to fight in his face, he steps onto a different platform of emotions. It's not about making a way, it's about getting rid of the guy that's in front of him. This is the last time he will see Chris.
And now making his way to the ring from East Sussex, his professional record an excellent one, 34 victories, 25 big wins by knockout against only 3 defeats. He's the 2-time IBO super middleweight world champion and the current IBO middleweight world champion, Chris Eubank.
Few boos there for Chris Eubank Jr., but that won't bother him at all. Look at him standing there.
You've got to remember,
not bothered one bit.
He's done nothing wrong, and this is his point. He's saying, you know what, I've just gone through my career. The only thing he's done wrong so far is slammed an egg in a young man's face. In his whole career, he's done nothing wrong, but he's the kind of guy that you think he's kind of aloof. You can't get to him. There's nothing you can hold conscious and think, I really like that guy. And even though the villain out of the two, which should be Conor, he's the one that's done anything wrong. If anybody's done anything wrong, he's likeable. He's like a kid you recognise, like somebody you think, I know him. And so it's so back to front, because the Chris walked downstairs and they're booing him, he's like, you know what, this is why I don't care what you people think. This is why I'll just get on with my career, because you're showing me why you shouldn't take serious what you guys are saying.
First fighter to the scale, the destroyer, the undefeated Conor Benn. perfect professional record, 23 fights, 23 victories, 14 wins by knockout. From right here in London, the undefeated Destroyer, Conor Benn.
As I was just saying to Johnny, for Conor Benn, he can slightly relax now. We do know he's made the weight. Interesting to see what he looks like on the scales right now. I mean, he looks in very good shape, Matt.
Yeah, fantastic shape.
156 pounds, 4 ounces.
Yeah, ripped, shredded, great nick. Looks strong as well.
We've had a lot of talk in the build-up about essentially Conor Benn making a fair jump in weight to fight Chris Eubank Jr. in two weight classes. He has fought at a higher weight though in the last year or so, but we all say, don't we, there's a saying that a good big man beats a good little man, but it's not always the case.
No, and in those last two fights up at super welterweight, trying to bridge the gap between middleweight, he didn't look as dynamic, he didn't look as explosive. So, but, you could say, well, it's going to take time for him to adjust, and he's had that bit longer now, and he's filled into the middleweight division more. We'll wait and see.
Conor Benn, Johnny's also been sparring much bigger men in the build-up to this one. William Skull, Denzel Bentley, just to name a couple.
Yeah, he has. So he's prepared for the bigger guys. That's what you do. You want to be able to wrestle your way through with these guys when you're in the gym with them to prepare to fight. Levels-wise, he's got to go for guys that have been bigger, that have been stronger, that are pushing back, so we're pushing back. But now, this is what I've got to face in front of him. Chris, he doesn't look fully hydrated, but he looks a lot better than he did this morning. So now it's just getting through the next 12 hours, or shall I say, for this young man.
The world has been waiting for. On the line, legacy. On the line, bragging rights. It's Benn versus Eubank Jr.
It's not really fair, is it? It's not really fair because one has now made the weight so he can relax and rehydrate and get himself into tip-top fighting condition. The other hasn't. So still, the battle still goes on for him. He's still got to, restrict what he's doing, restrict his fluid intake, restrict what he's eating. It's kind of unfair, some balance, but that's what he's agreed to for this fight to happen.
And do you think that will be a factor in the fight for Eubank?
Now I do, yeah. I do now because, I think what's happened this morning, it tilts the scales as far as I'm concerned. I leant towards Chris because he's a naturally bigger guy and more experienced guy, but I think after this morning, this is what I'm saying, his dad needs to get here, your son needs you, just be there as a father, show him that support, show him that mental drive that he needs, because mentally that's most of it.
How does Chris look to you right at this point, Matt? How does Chris look to you right at this point?
He looks focused. He looks pretty chiseled, but they're going to, aren't they, at the way in? The eyes look pretty good. I think he looks healthy. Like I say, I think with the weight, I think they just got it wrong. I think they misjudged it. I don't think it was that he couldn't make it.
In terms of the face-off, Chris has been doing that all week, isn't he? Sort of leaning down, looking down at Conor. Is that imposing his size on Conor?
Yeah, without a doubt, showing him you're a smaller man. I'm showing you no emotion. I aren't even invested in you. This is the job to me. Whereas Chris, look at his face. He just stood there emotionless. You're reading nothing from him. I wonder what else they actually in the interview. They say as little as possible.
Benn versus Eubank Jr. 12 rounds of boxing.
Ben looks the happy fighter there. Chris looks sullen. He doesn't look. I know he's still annoyed that he missed the weight, got it wrong, but Conor Benn looks buzzing there.
But isn't that, on the other side of the argument, isn't that how Chris Eubank Jr. always is a little bit?
Yeah, possibly. Maybe there's an element of that, definitely. But Ben looks buzzing there.
Firstly, your reaction to everything that happened regarding Chris's weight this morning.
I mean, it's an expensive price to pay, isn't it? But he's disciplined, so he should have made the weight. He's made this weight his whole career, he's expecting a little bit of sympathy, but he ain't got no sympathy around here.
Yeah, that's right, mate.
156.4 for yourself. What was the thinking behind that and what that weight gives you tomorrow?
156 is a weight I felt comfortable at. You know, I'm not a 160 fighter. I'm not a 154 fighter. I'm a 147 fighter. So for me, I'm just going to go in there and use my speed, explosiveness, my ferocity. It's the way I fight. You know, for me, that's not a 160.
What did you take from that final face-off?
I don't really take much from it. I mean, I don't know if I'm supposed to look scared or intimidated or, you know, I'm neither. You know, and I'm just looking forward to Saturday night. We're here now, and, you know, I plan on giving the fans the fight they want.
And in terms of the fans, in terms of the fight you think they want, tell the world what happens in the ring, Conor Benn, tomorrow night.
You know what I'm there to do. Do you know what I mean? I'm there to get a job done, get in there and get a stoppage. I'm coming in there to take his head clean off.
Conor, I wish you the best of luck tomorrow night. Thanks very much for speaking to us. We're going to head over and try and find Chris Eubank Jr. as well, if we can. Chris, we'll just bring you to the front of the stage. Chris, I have to ask, firstly, your version of events agonisingly just outside the 160 limit. What is your version of what happened and how have you processed it all?
Listen, it is what it is. If they're going to take $500,000 off of me for being 0.5 pounds off of the limit, then that's just what it is. That's the people that Eddie Hearn and Matchroom and Conor Benn are. At the end of the day, weights have no relevance to what happens tomorrow night. I'm going to go out there, I'm going to stop this guy.
How do you move forward now, with caution, of course, ahead of the second day weigh-in tomorrow?
Yeah, the rehydration clause is still in place, so I have to watch what I eat, I have to watch what I drink. But again, all these things, you know, they're set up to distract, to displace, to try and get me off of track. None of it will work.
I asked Conor, what did you take from that final face-off there here tonight?
Nothing. He is, you know, he's in for a hell of a surprise. He thinks he's going to go out there and, you know, hop, skip, and a step and a right hand, as he says. He has no idea the pain that is in store for him tomorrow night.
You got a great reception as you were walking down there off the stairs. I saw it brought a smile to your face. What is your promise, Chris, to all these fans who want to see you beat Conor Benn tomorrow? What's your promise to them?
The procedure will be parliamentary.
Chris Eubank Jr., thank you very much for speaking to us. I wish you the best of luck tomorrow night. I wonder if we can bring in Eddie Hearn and Ben Shalom. Final word from both sides of the promotional team. Ben, will bring you in first. I keep saying this. What a stage. Why does your man win tomorrow night?
Look, he's a better fighter. He's a world level fighter. He's a fighter that's been here before in the big nights, the big pay-per-view nights, and ultimately it will just become down to who can handle the pressure and who's a better boxer, and that's Chris Eubank Jr. every day of the week, and I cannot wait to put this to bed on Saturday night.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you, Ben. Thank you very much. Let's bring in promoter Eddie Hearn. Eddie, same question to you really. Obviously a little bit of drama today. Wouldn't be boxing without a little bit of drama, but what is your version of events tomorrow for Conor Benn?
You know, Chris is a great fighter, the IBO middleweight champion of the world. Couldn't make middleweight this morning, but that's okay. Everybody needs a bit of discipline in their life, and Conor Benn's ready. You know, the swing and the mojo has just switched so much, and it will continue to swing over the next 24 hours. But for me, no one's asking a question about Conor Benn coming up 2 weights, taking on a man that's much bigger to him. And you will see him chop down the tree tomorrow night and sit under 65,000 people at Tottenham Hotspur. His father will be there ring walking with him. This means so much to the family, the legacy, everything. I've never met a young man that wants to win so bad. Everything that he's been through over the last couple of years, God works in mysterious ways. Watch us get justice tomorrow night. Watch him take out Eubank. I thought 6 rounds. Conor says inside 2 rounds. We'll split the difference. Ben inside 4 rounds.
Thank you, Eddie. The talking is over. All that's left to do is fight.
It's so interesting, isn't it? And I kind of agree that people's opinions are swinging, aren't they, as the hours tick by to fight night, George. Let's just talk tactics. What do you think is going to happen? You shared a ring with Eubank Jr. You've beaten him. What do you think he will do?
So Eubank Jr. needs to use his size, his natural size, and he wants to get behind the jab, because you imagine Conor Benn is going to come at him, fly him at him 100 miles an hour. Yeah, so I'm a jab man. I love the jab, and I'll always be an advocate for the jab. Keep him at the range that you want to keep, Matt. Settle him in, and then when he's going to come with the big hard shots, and he's going to go, maybe headhunting. He's going to try and bomb away. Then you're going to see them shots come. You're going to try and make him miss and make him pay. That's the way that Eubank certainly wants to start the fight tomorrow. He wants to settle Conor Benn as quick as possible.
Are you in agreement, Matt? Do you think Conor Benn's going to come out firing hot off the blocks, but Eubank's just got to ride those rounds out?
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe Eubank will take the centre of the ring and look to back Conor Benn up. If he can get Conor Benn going backwards, he'll take away all his leverages out of him and won't allow him any momentum to build confidence into the fight. So, he may well do that. He may come out and take the centre of the ring and back Conor Benn up. I wouldn't be shocked at all if he does that.
What do you think, Johnny?
I think Matt just switched that light bulb on in my head the other day, and I thought, of course, common sense. Chris has to push Conor back. He's a better offensive fighter than he is a defensive fighter, so Chris has to push him back. It takes away the dangers of Conor, and that way when Conor's, you see his fight, you see his style of fight, you see his attacking style of fight. When he's on the front foot, he's more dangerous than he's on the back foot, and you saw how Chris was with Liam Smith. When he got rid of him, he was on his front foot, putting him down. He needs to implement this into this fight.
How many times has your opinion swayed this week?
You know what? Today I said this would be my final way back and forward, and I'm still struggling. I originally leant towards Chris, and I thought Chris has got this, and then this morning it really put me off. It's really just tilted in his favour, and that's why I'm going to phone his dad when we're done. I'm speaking to the guy.
Oh, really? I'm just having a look at the poll on the screen right now. It's pretty even, Matt. Just looking. Giving up with Matt, I'm just going to go to George.
I've got no earpiece.
I know. George, just looking at the poll on the screen,
pretty even.
But it's kind of where everyone's sat, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's been the theme of the week.
That is pretty even, and it has swayed either way or the other. And there's still more at play, I think, Anna. We'll see what the checkways reveal tomorrow. See if they all come in on time, if there's smiles, if there's a bit of drama, or if someone fails a weight, who knows? I was shocked that Conor Benn there said, I come in at 156, a 4 pound light, and he's still telling everyone that he's a welterweight boxer. You're like, if I'm trying to make a case for you here to win this fight, Conor, then I want to know that you're going to be big enough to compete with Eubank.
They're both giving themselves trapdoors. Chris in the video he's put out, Conor saying I'm a career welterweight, in case the worst thing happens. That's what they both done. That is the only chink in what both fighters have said. Conor saying that and what Chris has put out.
For me, it's all about the unknowns. I think if you look at the facts and the evidence that we've got for both guys' careers, it's an easy pick. Eubank, he's the proven guy. He's boxed the better opposition. He's fought at the higher level, and he's got all the physical advantages. But that's not necessarily
the full story.
But we don't know what he's got left. That's what we don't know. And and Conor Benn, he's a complete, he is older, mature, and even though he didn't look as dynamic but super welterweight, you could say, well, he's growing into the weight, but it's all going to come together for him tonight, and that is possible. It could all come together for him tomorrow night.
But that's what makes it more intriguing, doesn't it, man? That is what has captured the imagination. If you think about this fight, well, it spans 3 generations, doesn't it? You've got the generation that remember the seniors, you've got the generation that remember both.
Why did you point at me then?
No offence. But then you've also got the generation that know the juniors, and it really is a fascinating fight, isn't it, that has really captured the nation.
No, it really has, and both guys have played their part in terms of getting us invested in this fight, in this battle. They're both charismatic people, very different in their own right. But they almost live up. There is a shadow of their fathers from before, so we'll bring in Johnny's generation, because they're like, oh, reminisce. They're bringing it right back. And like Chris Eubank Jr., you feel has been groomed by his father from the moment he wanted to box, and it's totally different with Conor, where you feel Nigel's much more laid back, but so he's almost more like his dad than Eubank Jr. is. It feels like, at least in this last fight week.
It's fascinating, isn't it? And it is a stellar lineup. It is a stacked undercard. At 5 o'clock, we get on air on Sky Sports Box Office. Look at that. Chris Smith, Brandon Glanton, Chef Clark, Vidal Riley, so looking forward to that one. That one really could steal the night. Liam Smith, Aaron McKenna and Anthony Yard in that trilogy match against Lyndon Arthur. And then a mouth-watering main event, Chris Eubank Jr. up against Conor Benn. You don't want to miss it. Here's the details on how you can watch it. Coverage from Tottenham Hotspur Stadium gets underway from 5 p.m. on Saturday, live on Sky Sports box office. The event is available to Sky customers and also non-Sky customers via the Sky Sports box office app in the UK and Ireland. Virgin Media and EETV customers, please contact your operator. Go to skysports.com/box office for more information. Come on then, old man. What are you saying? I'm joking.
You know what? I'm in the balance now. This morning's really tripped me up. I was sold towards Chris just slightly, but now I think it's made it really even. I'm struggling. I am struggling for the first time.
Essentially, you're sat on the fence.
Yeah.
Not allowed.
An old man's fence. Okay then. I'm gonna have to lean towards Conor because of this morning.
Matt.
I've got to go with the facts, and the facts are that Eubank is the proven guy. Obviously, you know, Father Time waits for no man, and that could be a big factor here. But on the cold facts of what both guys have showed us in the ring so far in their careers, I have to go with Eubank.
George?
I think Eubank's still the favourite.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Not long to go until we find out. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your company, and to you home watching as well. The talking is done. It is all about Fight Night, for what is set to be a magnificent Fight Night coming to you live from Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Let's just hope for a Eubank Benn classic. See you tomorrow at 5 o'clock Sky Sports box office.